bells. I'm thinking about bells today and bells ringing. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 780. Woo! 780 days in a row. I have hopped online and shared my journey as I transition from the offline brick and mortar world to the online world. Now I'm going to tell you, I am super duper grateful that I have decided and have been making that transition. Because guess what? As we go through all the chaos and craziness that's going on in the world, I'm just pretty much doing what I've been doing for the last, 780 days, right? Or longer, because of course, I wasn't brave enough to go and do Facebook Lives, especially to journal and track what I'm doing in the beginning. Now, as the couple of years have gone by, and 780 days, a lot's happened and changed in my life, right? One of the biggest personal challenges I've had is my vision. I am legally blind, and so it became necessary for me to, if I wanted to keep track of what I was doing, document in a different way. I couldn't just fill notebooks like I'd always done, because I could fill them, but I couldn't read them, right? I can write stuff down, but I don't necessarily have the capacity to read it and retrieve it. So I had to find ways that worked for me. I have a philosophy: do what you can with what you've got right now. And that's part of the reason that I started to document my journey. Plus, I wanted to document my journey, but I wanted to keep track of it and then share some of the dumb tracks that I've gone down that I want to, save other people from going down. I have always been a person that looked for lots of resources and would go down different trails sometimes when I was learning about something. But in the offline world, I was a lot more focused than I was on the online world. And maybe that's because the volumes of information and the amazing marketers online that get our attention and pull us down their roads, whether it's the right road for us or not. There's a few people I follow online that I consciously had to stop following and paying attention to every day, because everything they put out there I would buy and do. Russell Brunson is one of my favorite people in the world, but everything he puts out there I would buy and sell, even if I already had it, right? I'm actually a certified partner. They don't do that anymore, but I was a certified partner and still am, because once you're certified for ClickFunnels, right? It's a software tool, a software as a service tool that I know a lot about. I don't sell it as a service or do anything, but I know a lot about it, and I use it for my own business, my own online world, and I help other people that interact with me to use it as well. But every single thing that would come out, I would buy, and the problem with that is it took me down trails and paths that were sometimes months that weren't what I needed to do next. And one of the biggest lessons I've had to learn is I have to ask myself the question, what is the next thing I need to do to move me toward my goal? And since we each have different goals and objectives, it's a really good question to ask. What is the next thing that I need to do to move me toward my goal? And if, trailing around and following people on social media isn't moving me toward my goal, then I'm not going to do that. If buying a new book or a new product is interesting and really exciting and they've done an incredible job marketing it, that's awesome, and I can learn from the process they use, but it doesn't mean I have to go down that trail. And if that's not the right book or the right topic for me right now, I can use my own filter to say no to that. So bells, I guess bells to me, ring a bell was the topic of my Supersize Your Business video today, and bells are such a big part of our life, even more so now with our cell phones that give us reminders and notifications for absolutely everything that we want, and we can customize those reminders and those bells. But bells have always been a part of our life, right? Bells are reminders. They interrupt us and they remind us to do something. Think of your alarm clock. Your alarm clocks, back in the days when we had alarm clocks before our cell phones woke us up, our alarm clock was a bell. It was a reminder to wake up and get going in your life today. But we have bells that remind us to do everything, and they're all around us. And they're triggers, and these triggers can be used in positive ways to move us toward what we want, or they can actually be negative things that make us feel bad or guilty about not having done something already. So we need to make sure that we're mapping out and setting up the reminders and the notifications and the bells in a way that they work for us. One of the ways I do that I learned this from, I don't even remember who I learned it from, one of the big gurus said, guess what, on your phone, it might even not have been a big guru, it might just been one of my contacts or friends that told me, and I wish I could remember who, because it's such a good idea. On our phones, on our smartphones these days, we can, whenever there's a bell or an alarm or a reminder set, we can actually put in some words or a phrase. So I use that as either a reminder of a big goal that I'm working on or a big project, or as an affirmation. If you don't know what affirmations are, we can talk about it another time, but I use it for affirmations, or to remind me of the way I want my life to be, the way I want to see things, the way I see the world. So I've got different alarms and different reminders set for me personally to take medications throughout the day. And when one of those goes off, it doesn't say, hey, take your medication. It says, I can't remember what they say right now. Maybe something like you are awesome, or have an awesome day, or something, or make it an awesome day. I don't even remember, but one of them says something to that effect. Or I might say be loving, right? Be loving, love being, be you. That's been my favorite saying and kind of my motto for since 2010. So bells, I'm thinking a lot about bells and how can I use them? How can I set up triggers and reminders that work for me and continuously move me toward what I want? Today was 5 in the countdown to the live challenge workshop, which is Monday. I'm super getting excited. There are so many pieces that I wish I had in place and had put in place, but with all this nonsense that's been going on in the world, I have not made it a priority to do those things. Let me expound on a couple of those. Number one, an email sequence. I want to and should have an entire email sequence leading up to this challenge, right? Especially with the 20-day countdown. Each day of the 20-day countdown should have, but doesn't, and it will next time around, an email that goes along with it, right? And people should be not just joining the group, but then I should be putting them on my email list and then emailing them every day. Here's today's countdown if you want to listen to it. Otherwise, here's a quick summary of what the actual lesson was, so you don't have to listen to it if you don't want, and it should be offering it in different modalities, so people that like to read can just read a quick summary, that want it, hey, I just want the 5-second version, here it is. Or if they want to listen to the video, here's the link, so they don't have to go looking for it, here it is. And I want to do that same thing in a messenger bot for it. I have like one outlined, but I don't have the details and the specifics built into it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it may or may not get done. Hanging out with my 4-year-old granddaughter all day these days, so it may or may not get done. Depending on what's going on around me, it may or may not get done. Depending on how many projects and things she wants me to interact and do with her, which is my top priority, right? My priority is this live challenge workshop and my 4-year-old granddaughter. When it comes between the two, guess what's gonna win? My 4-year-old granddaughter is gonna win, except during the hour, or less than an hour, because I'm not gonna talk for an hour, of each of the days that we're live for the challenge. I will find help or something with her, or I'll have her on a project or activity to make sure that I can dedicate my time to the challenge. What else am I thinking? So, today's was all about forgiveness and the power of forgiveness, and that forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves. It isn't about anyone that's harmed us or hurt us or anything that's happened to us that we know is unfair, because guess what? Life is unfair. One of the other excuse me, great lessons I learned from my dad. There's a few things, and at my dad's funeral, I did this poster board, because I'm like a nerdy engineer, right? So I created this poster board and piles of different colored Post-it notes, because he worked at 3M for his career in addition to having businesses on the side. So we had a bunch of colored notebooks, or Post-it notes, markers, because colored markers are my thing, and a giant 3-part poster board that said, share your Einerisms, because my dad was always sharing wisdom and coaching, even though he was never a coach that I recall. He was always teaching and coaching all of us girls, as well as everybody else that he came in contact with. And he had certain sayings that he always said. One of them was, girls, life isn't fair, because it isn't. Life is not fair, because fair is relative, right? What's fair to me is not fair to you. What's fair to someone else, we might both think isn't fair. So life isn't fair. There's no such thing as can't. Bells and reminders, right? Bells and reminders. That one was funny. That one said boom. I can't remember what the rest was, but boom a billionaire or something. So my reminders all have, and my alarms all have something written by them that means something to me, right? But Post-it notes, and then all of his Einerisms were on there. One of them was, there's no such thing as can't. Life isn't fair. I don't even know if somebody put this one, but piss poor planning on your part does not create an emergency for me. And then hugs aren't any good if you keep them. There were so many things like that, but life isn't fair was one of them. I don't remember the point of that story, but Post-it notes and the cards and everything. So, reminders, why I have reminders everywhere. I usually have Post-it notes everywhere too, like in different shapes and sizes, because they're just fun. Geez, I do have Post-it notes everywhere. Hello, my name is Pajama Grandma. You got this. I used to have one that said smile, but I don't know what happened to it. And they have to be big, or I don't even see them, and I don't really see them, but I remember what they are. Excuse me, I got that tickle in my throat this morning. So, those are my priorities of the next few days. Fortunately for me, and unfortunately for me, I am one of those higher risk people. I mean, I've had health challenges for a long time, so I need to lay low. But since I've already got my online stuff going and online business, I am feeling more confident than a lot of people are right now. And that's part of why I think it's so important that I move forward with what I'm doing and I keep doing what I'm doing. All of us that can keep doing what we're doing, we have a moral obligation to the world, and I'm not even understating this, to the world, to keep the economy going. We have a moral obligation to keep people's hopes up. We have a moral obligation, each and every one of us, no matter what you're doing, to do what we can do and focus on what we can do now in a positive way to impact us, those we love and care about, and the world, not just ourselves. I could go off, and I probably will go off over the next couple of days sometime, probably not in this format, about human behavior and human nature right now and how it's showing up as we are being forced to go through some changes. And I guess my delight in some of the things I see and my massive disappointment in a lot of the things I see. There is no reason, and I'm going to say it again, there is no reason for the human behavior of emptying store shelves and hoarding things. And it all shows the extent that our society and our world has gone to the scarcity mentality. And I might do a whole Facebook Live about this, because it is such a big deal and it is such a huge wake-up call for us as human beings that we need to pay attention to it. And I'm saying that from a level of experience that most people have never had, in terms of personal examples and personal experience with a worsening situation until we're forced to pay attention. And I really feel like my life has paralleled what's going on in the world right now, where there have been messages that were stronger and stronger and stronger. And the more I didn't listen, the more I didn't notice it, the more I didn't become consciously aware of it, that I needed to make massive changes, the bigger and the harder the message and the lesson came to me, up to and including having a sudden cardiac arrest and dying. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening in the world right now and on the planet. Hey, world, stuff has been happening that is to get your attention, that you need to be prepared for handling emergencies and not count on everybody else to take care of you, but you should constantly be being prepared and not have to go to the store and hoard. And so if one of the lessons that we're going to learn coming out of this is how we live our life is important, and how we prepare in the event that something's going to happen and change, because things are always happening and changing. And if we can be better prepared to handle changes, to handle the unexpected, then that will have a better, more positive impact on the world. So I think I'll probably do a live about that. Maybe I'll do a live Q&A where we can interact, or a live Zoom or some group Zoom or something, where a bunch of us can get on and share the wisdom and how that and what we see happening in a positive way, not in a negative way, because I want it to be all about, hey, this is what we can do. We're going to focus on the solutions. We're going to focus on what we can do. We're not going to focus on what the problem is. We're going to focus on solving the problem, right? Anyway, that is sort of off topic. I've got to get ready for an amazing 4-year-old, so I am going to go do my thing. I'm going to have another cup of coffee and let the microwave beep at me a couple of times. Let the dogs out, feed the dogs, do all those things that we do to make our life work. And I will be with you tomorrow. If I can help you in any way, if I can help you to feel better about what you can do and what the next thing is, ask me in the comments below or direct message me. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom, Pajama Grandma, Gramma, And I will, if I can't personally help you, I will set you in the direction of the right person that can, because nobody should feel like they are stuck up against a wall and they don't know what to do next, because no matter what our situation is, there is a next thing for all of us, and it's a next positive thing for all of us, not a, oh my God, this is the end of the world, because it certainly is not, right? It's just, and as we look back on this, this will be a blip on all of our lives, and it will have had an impact, but those of us that learn from it and move forward will be awesome and better off for it having happened. I've learned that the bad things that have happened in my life are the things that have caused me to change and grow the most in a positive way. The good things that have happened, yep, they've been good, but when I look back and I think about the things that have impacted me in my life and my family's life the most, it's always been the little tragedies, the little bad things that have happened that have caused us to really change and grow and learn, and that's the biggest lesson there. All right, have an amazing day. If I can help you in any way, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow.